Like getting sand back in the
your pee hole.
Sand holder.
Sand holder?
Yeah. Sandbag.
Like getting it back in the hourglass.
Getting it back in the bag of sand.
The bag of sand that you bought. The very small bag of sand.
And you spread out the sand on the table for fun. That's
It'd be like if you cut up sand into little lines and then we're trying to get back into a small bag. That's what it's like.
Pretty similar to that kind of experience.
Similar concepts.
It seems more like powdered sugar. It kind of has that consistency. Sand is a lot more.
That's even more similar, yeah.
We're just throwing out
getting flour here. Back in the bag of flour.
Yeah.
After you've already dumped it out.
But like a really
But like a small.
But like, yeah.
Not baking quality flour.
Yeah. Welcome to the Brown Bricks Podcast.
Welcome to the Brown Bricks Podcast.
The most amount of fun you can have while listening to a podcast.
The lapel mic strategy is gonna have to wait another week.
Yeah.
We ran into some technical issues with some Chinese adapters that were not meant for it.
Not up to snuff.
They do work. They technically work. So that's not the problem, which is good. I'm glad.
Progress has been made towards improving our audio, but we haven't got there yet.
The progress, because it's like, I don't know, like 55 episodes in, could be considered what some would call glacial, but we are making progress.
Hey, we don't even make any money off of this, so they can't even complain.
I think they were donating like 368 or something.
Ooh,
they donated to our Venmos like we asked.
The ones that I bleeped out, yeah.
I was so mad when I listened back to that and I saw that you wouldn't let me say my full legal name on our racist podcast.
If there's one thing that I don't want, like, if there's one thing that I put out into the world that I don't want ever boomeranging back to me, it's probably this podcast.
Yeah. It's sometimes you think about it and you're like, should we be doing this?
I've made a lot of precautions to make sure that this is like
never something we can regret.
Inspector Gadget runs this podcast.
Yeah,
as you can see.
There used to be another guy.
It used to be some other nerd. that was not actually my name. That's just a random name I came up with.
That was somebody else. Who knows who that could have been?
Yeah.
Tage is gone. We're gonna dox him. He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
So go find him. Go find the man who looks like Tage, and say, "Are you from the Brown Bricks Podcast?"
Yeah.
And just kill him.
Yeah. Ask everyone who looks like they might be a Tage. You can interpret that however you'd like, and just ask if they're on the Brown Bricks Podcast.
Yeah.
And if you get it right, he will be fucking terrified.
Tage will murder you if you do that.
He will have a lot of anxiety from that, and will demand that we stop.
He will call us yelling at me, saying, take it down now."
And it would be hard to say no.
Yeah, that's probably a fair request.
Justifiable demand, I'd say.
I like to live on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're really adrenaline junkies recording a podcast, taking a risk.
We're all rock hard under this table. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah.
What's it called?
We're getting older, guys.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Phineas is in particular.
A little bit older.
He's a little birthday boy.
20,
it's a birthday cast.
20-something.
20-something.
Who fucking
Rude to
knows,
ask.
dude? I'm feeling 22.
Everything will be alright. Until a couple of weeks from now when I turn 23.
When it's 22.
But you can still feel 22.
It's true. I maybe she was feeling 22 and she was like...
She was like 30.
It was like a sad thing where she was like at like a fucking like frat party and they're like, Taylor Swift, it's cool that you came here. You should probably leave.
Yeah, this is really not your scene.
Yeah, she brings alcohol to like high school parties.
I'm feeling 22.
That would be funny. It's like you feel 22, but you feel like a weird 22.
Not like a 22 who's where you should be. Like a 22-year-old who themselves is still hanging out with people too young.
Yeah. Or the 22-year-old who's like dating like a 17-year-old, which is like legal in their state, but it's still like, ooh, they're like not out of high school.
Really feeling her
I'm
age.
feeling 22.
Really feeling the age on that day.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of people who would like to return to that time, because I feel like, do those people do that because it's just purely it's like naive people,
high schoolers?
Yeah, or is it purely because it's like I want to return to a formative time when I had a shot at being.
It could be a combination, you know. Yeah. Young impressionable kids wanted to date cool, older.
Just don't have the ability to know you're a piece of shit.
Like,
That's
I feel
probably
like
a lot of it.
For me, even like high school, like the implication that they, like a 22-year-old would be willing to date me immediately disqualifies them in my mind as being a cool person that's older.
Jack, you have to understand, we're very smart.
We're so smart.
There's a lot of dumb
I forgot
kids.
how fucking smart we were. How smart we were.
There are a lot of stupid ass children who are just like, well, they're older and older people are cool, and that means they deserve to have sex with me.
I can respect them if they're doing it purely to get alcohol. That's
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 cool.
something that's cool as fuck.
That is cool.
Where they're like, they just dump their ass like the moment they turn the time that they can get like a fake ID.
That seems like a long time to commit to an older person.
That would be
Just
really
to
fun.
get booze.
They, like,
you
get-
don't
they,
have
like-
any older friends.
They like get married and shit, and she's like, I want a divorce. He's like, you could have just told me you just wanted alcohol.
Getting a divorce on her 21st birthday.
Damn.
You've like met his parents. He's like trying to turn his life around for you at that point. Like, he's like got a job. It's
Man.
like, I don't need you for the alcohol anymore. It's like, what the fuck?
We weren't even drinking that often.
Yeah. Maybe once 3 times a year, but those 3 times a year, I needed that alcohol.
I really needed a 21-year-old to make it legal. It has to be legal.
Yeah, it has to. I can't go around dating a guy with a fake ID. That'd be weird.
The only legal things I
That'd be
want to
fucking
do
cringe.
is
I-
underage drinking.
There was a gaggle of girls. I think we might have talked about this. That they only dated guys who had Chegg accounts, but it was like 6
Yeah.
people who like were constantly. At least one of them was dating a guy with a Chegg account. So like then they would like send that in the chat, and then they would all get a hold of that. But then like they would only date them for like 1 or so months, and they're like, it's your turn to date someone with a Chegg account, and they're like, okay, and they just try to like finesse it. They have to finesse that account out of them really fast, because they're like, we've only got like a month half-life.
It's a syndicate.
Yeah, I know. It's a syndicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a sin in the Bible?
Shut up!
Using someone for their Chegg account?
Yeah, maybe not
I mean,
those
that's
exact
like-
words, but like something of equivalence.
Probably some sin, like, right?
Like it's not even lust. It's
What
like
if for
fake.
what if the only sins were the 7 deadly sins? Then everything else was totally cool.
Well, I mean, like the 7 deadly sins are so broad that you can
Yeah.
kind of like mix them together to make any sort of outcome. Where it's like,
Can't do that. There's no mixing and matching. There's just one.
well, like
for
lust
everything.
is like super broad, and that's not like one specific.
It's just
act.
lusting.
It's just lusting.
Yeah, having sex isn't lust.
It's utility. That is important.
You can't have kids without having sex.
That's
Guys,
true.
I had a good idea.
Yeah.
When we're 40, let's all get Chegg accounts so that we can go out with college girls.
Ooh.
I like it. I like that idea.
If Chegg in college are still around.
Yeah, we'll all get like Tinder accounts that say
There'll
we're
be
22.
some new, like, Chegg equivalent on the metaverse or some shit.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, do you have one of those headbands that you put on and then gain all the knowledge of the universe? It's like, yeah, babe.
Yeah, I got one of the. You want to
Aren't
borrow
those like
it?
$1,500 a month because of inflation? It's like, yeah, that's fine. But like,
We'll
we're
have, like, a subscription service to study material you can airdrop into your brain.
yeah.
And we'll give that to girls for them to suck our dicks.
At that
I
point, I
already
feel
knew
like
this.
it's like we just have to like go out with college girls, but we have like the bountiful like arrangement of the Matrix in front of us, and it's like it's just not the same.
I still
It's
just want. I still just want brain from a young teen
we
girl.
fucking get out of our like Matrix pods, and I'm like, I need to get my dick sucked by a college girl
need to get
right
my dick
now.
Rejecting a Matrix-style utopia so you can get your dick sucked.
Keanu, that was what the whole thing was.
That was
Keanu
Matrix 4,
Reeves
man.
was like, I can't get my dick sucked in the Matrix.
Trinity is going out with a different guy.
That's,
Yeah, when he first learned about the Matrix, he's like, "You mean to tell me all the head I've got so far hasn't even
It's
been
not
real?"
even real.
I like the idea that
He
it's
just
not.
immediately pulls back the fucking wire out of his brain. Like,
It-
fuck.
It's not that. Yeah, his
immediately
body.
scans around for someone to suck his real cock. For real this time.
Yeah,
No
but then-
funny business.
But then, like, the robots come, and it's like, you'll do, and he starts fucking their hole, and they're like, I don't have concept of violation, but this feels wrong. I don't like this.
And that's why all the robots killed the humans.
Yeah.
You
Because they started
Keanu.
using him like the frog in that
know? Used
ape.
them like a flashlight.
God, these podcasts are too horny when they start.
What was our Back to the Future 5 idea we had last
Back to the
night?
Future 5 was it like
The
Holocaust?
George Floyd one.
Oh yeah, it was the George Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
Go back in time to prevent
Someone
George
has
Floyd.
to go back in time to prevent George Floyd from dying because he's the only one who can save our world in the future.
true.
Yeah,
That's
George Floyd.
True facts.
They
Kind of
made
like a Terminator thing. But
Yeah.
Back to the Future 5, I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because they already stopped 9/11, but that doesn't stop police brutality.
Yeah.
That shit continues. If anything, it might have distracted us from police brutality because people are
9/11?
like, yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
If
It
you
made,
zoom
it made
in on
cops
those pictures
feel...
of the crashes. There's cops.
Yeah, there's cops
Smash up the
beating up,
sh- beating up the tower.
yeah, beating up the tower.
taking out the supports at the bottom.
Yeah, it's like they can't build steel beams, but cops' batons can break them. That's so weird.
I don't know. If 9/11 didn't happen, cops wouldn't have such a big fucking chip on their shoulder about how all their brothers died going into the tower.
I feel like, well, did they need like cops, or was it more just like emergency services?
firefighters.
Yeah,
Well,
firefighters
there's
and like
cops,
ambulance
but, yeah.
workers.
Cops are just the cringe version of firefighters.
Yeah, they don't-
Dude,
they don't
firefighters
put out
get
fires.
so much pussy. It's kind of unreal.
Yeah.
I know a guy who's like a part-time firefighter, and basically the reason that is because one, it's like the most heroic thing you can do. Like with
Yeah.
cops, there's like some moral gray, or like a lot of moral gray, where it's like
And
holy.
even some moral black.
Yeah, and even some just straight up evil things that they do. But with firefighters, it's like, oh, this house is burning down. You are literally going in to save
Yeah.
people's lives in a very dangerous situation. So it's like everybody's like, holy
No
shit,
question about
that's
that,
hot.
yeah.
But then on top of that, you also have like those guys, in order to get into those situations, have to be the most physically fit, like Adonises in the world. And so just having that and like having like a volunteer, because I know guys who like would show up and dress to the nines, and they would not get nearly as much poontang as the guys who just had like
Yeah, the
volunteer
firefighter
firefighters t-shirts
t-shirt.
and like jeans and like
Yeah.
shitty shoes. It was great.
Liam's trying to be a firefighter.
Liam is trying to be a firefighter.
Oh, he is? That's cool.
That's cool.
That's something I just learned about right now.
He took the firefighter test or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
What's the firefighter test?
It's a written test.
That feels like inadequate
Well, it's not,
in order
it's not
to
the
judge
only
your
thing
ability
you need
to
to do, but
He,
you gotta do
if he
that.
qualified, he would also have to do the physical
Okay.
test.
I think it would be really funny if all you had to do is like pass a written test, and it's all like logic based puzzles
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like Benny and Jenny take or go 3 feet apart in opposite directions, and then turn around in opposite directions and go 4 feet apart. How far away are they? And then it's like if you don't know that, then you can't
You
be a
can't
firefighter.
rescue a kid from a fire.
It's 10 feet, by the way. It's 10 feet because of the
Yeah,
that-
no, I got you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you might have to do that for an IQ test or something.
Well, are they each going 3 feet and then each going 4 feet, or total?
Yeah, they're each going 3 and 4, but that creates a triangle that makes 3, 4, 5, because the hypotenuse is always going to be 5 when you have 3 and 4 as the length of those, so that'll be 5 feet. And because the two diagonals, because the closest thing to any 2 points is a straight line, and the
Yeah.
straight line that they would form would be the two hypotenuses of that triangle.
I didn't realize they were forming a triangle. They were just walking away from each other.
They are kind of, I mean, they're walking like opposite directions, and they're turning, and then they're walking that direction.
Okay, I
You
think
create
the
that
way
look.
you worded the question did not explain that
I thought they
very well.
did like a full 360 and then just kept walking the same direction.
Yeah, I did as well. I was
They're
like,
2
what?
feet apart, yeah.
They just kept walking away.
They did a little pirouette, did a little ice skating thing.
But no, a lot of it is just like, what would you do in this situation? And it's like,
I'd kill
okay,
them. I'd kill the
what
pet.
would you do when you hear a cat burning alive in the house? And I think the
let it
answer to
go.
that one is nothing. Don't go in the house.
Well, like, I hate those signs that are like, save our dogs. It's like, listen, like, they will. Like, no human being is out there being like, I'm just going to let the dog die if they have a choice. But if it's like between them, their lives, and like getting the dog out, it's like,
If it's below like a collapsing building, like an imminently collapsing
Yeah.
building, you're like,
No,
It is gonna happen.
I'm a human.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta
I've got a lot of bills to pay. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's my big. The thing is, it's like weird that people have those signs in their yards, or like they'll have it
I
like
have
on
not
their door.
heard of that.
I've seen that. I've seen people who have like "Save Our Dogs," emergency.
Were they
services.
worried about their house burning down constantly? They
Yeah,
need
they
a sign.
they have a million
that
different like
says-
power outlet extenders everywhere.
It's like, okay, our house is going to burn down, so we want them to know to save.
They have
our
like
dog.
a blender with no top on it. It's like 5 different blenders all doing protein shakes.
Sounds like a fun house.
Yeah.
I know, it's badass.
It's got a bunch
Fucking
of
streamer
vitamins.
house.
Fucking dog running around with all of that going on. Just like electrocuting itself on everything.
Save our dog. It's just like, please get out. I don't want to be
Fucking
saved. I started the fire on purpose.
It's got like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at this point because it just has been like shocked so many times.
Yeah, I don't know that reference.
It's with Jack Nicholson. It's a story about how he went to like a mental hospital, and he goes in, and then he gets electric shock therapy, and he's fine the first time. Then he has it again, and he just becomes a potato. And then the Indian man in there is just like, I feel bad for you. You'll never feel again. And then he like takes the big sink out of the shower and he rips it out, and then he crushes Jack Nicholson's head, and then he throws it and breaks out of the mental hospital and starts running. And that's the end of the movie.
That's the real ending.
That's the real ass ending.
Huh.
No wait, he kills Jack Nicholson before with a pillow, and then he
But he
rips out the
uses his
sink,
body to-
and then he throws it at the window, and it's like the fucking Mac commercial where they throw
Jack
the.
Nicholson is not the main character.
He is.
He is
But
the-
the Indian man is just also there, chilling.
Okay.
There's a lot of It's a cast of colorful characters. It's a very like weirdly dour movie that has like nothing of value to say as far as
Yeah,
that
I don't really
goes.
know
Where
what
it's
the-
like, isn't it fucked up that we used to do this to people? Because it was like even then, it was like in the 80s or 70s,
Yeah.
and even then it was commenting on like 50s stuff where it was like, wow, this was really
Wow, we
bad.
used to brain.
Glad we didn't do this. Glad we don't do this anymore. It's like, yeah, that is pretty bad.
Yeah, we definitely don't do anything like that in our mental hospitals still.
We treat people. We don't do electroshock therapy, except for in China. They're huge on electroshock therapy there.
We don't let them get killed after becoming potatoes anymore.
Yeah.
Man.
We try not.
I hope.
We just drug them up. That's how we make them
Did
potatoes.
you get all your arms and legs chopped off and become like a chemical fucking like euphoria forever? You're just a potato man.
That
You
would
just
be.
constantly pump like heroin into your veins.
That
You
would
gotta find something better than heroin.
I like
You're gonna
the
start
idea-
having a bad time if you're always doing heroin.
I like the idea that
You're a
like
potato.
you go to a mental hospital. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling really depressed. Like, you know, I've gone through a lot of stuff. Like, I
Wait,
tried
do
to
we
take my
have
own
the thing
life,
for you?
and then they chop off your arms and legs and fucking pump you full of heroin.
is
And your
making me
family's
feel
like,
alive.
why did we allow them to take him? It's like,
Feel
don't worry,
alive.
we're doing
Better
what's
not.
best for him.
Well,
Oh, God.
would you?
No.
I'd do it if it was morphine.
Morphine? Yeah, okay, we can make it morphine.
Why do they have to take my limbs off though? Is that
Yeah.
just
You
like
gotta become a chemical
is that
potato.
just to kind of make it a devil's bargain sort of thing?
Wait, so like,
Oh, if they do that, and then once those wounds heal up, it costs less money to keep me on life support.
or
You don't
it,
need
it
as
costs
much
less
morphine.
heroin
I don't need
too.
as much morphine to get high.
Yeah.
I have way less blood in my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah, because they're just trying to find like vestigial things. So they're like, we can remove like half this guy's gallbladder.
Yeah.
That's like less
Well, you're
heroin.
like in a permanent like pleasure coma because you're just constantly on
Yeah.
morphine.
We are wasting so much taxpayer money.
We gotta cut down the amount of morphine. How do we do that? Like fucking I don't know.
Chop off his arms.
Chop off his
legs.
cock next? I don't know.
His nose, his eyes. You can just like
His
you can like
ears.
Annie you get your gun at that guy and just like
Stop making like movies into verbs, you fucking bitch.
I realized I was doing that, but that story's about a guy who like stepped on a landmine and he has like no arms, no legs, and like can't see or hear or like he barely can feel anything, and it's like should we just kill him? Is like the entire point of that book,
Yeah.
and he finds a way to communicate with a nurse.
And he says, yes!
Yes, fucking dude.
Please, God!
And then she's like, don't worry, I've got a good idea. And then she brings over the morphine.
Her morphine.
Do you think that Ant-Man could do drugs while he's small, so he doesn't have to
Oh
do
my
as
God.
much, and then get
no.
big and keep that high?
No.
He could crush down.
Yeah, that'd be a little too strong.
Yeah, the crack cocaine. He could crush down like one crack rock, and he's like, "Whoa, it's huge because I'm a little guy."
He's like the little rat eating the big cheese.
Right? Do you think he could stay small and get?
Wait,
like,
Ant-Man
a
can make things
proportional
bigger though too, right?
Yeah.
He can like make things
Well, yeah,
because he
that's
made
like-
that one
He
ant.
makes himself bigger.
No, but yeah, and so he can make other things bigger. So he could
Yeah.
just run a drug empire by getting like one thing and like one thing of like heroin or whatever, and just making that really
I
big,
think
and then
of
using
all the
that.
sci-fi concepts, like growing and shrinking things is probably the worst one.
Oh yeah,
So
it does
fucking-
not hold up to scrutiny at all.
No, yeah. Time
Yeah.
travel, I can at least understand that there's like some potential like ways that could happen in real life, like through wormholes and shit.
Time travel, you can do it well enough that people give it the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't say that Marvel has, but you
No,
can.
Yeah. No, I feel like, but with
Fucking-
Ant-Man and all of those like.
It's just
Big-
the atoms
big, small
get bigger.
guys.
Like what? Is there just less mass there?
Even more than that, it's like not even interesting. It's like, so I've
Yeah.
suspended my disbelief to imagine that this Ant-Man can possibly exist. This is the most boring movie of all time. He's just a guy who can turn bigger and
Big
smaller.
small,
Like there are people who can
yes.
do like magic, and like people who can like like time travel has implications for when you time travel. It's like you're just a pretty big guy when you're a big
I
guy.
don't remember whatever the point was for him to get smaller.
He
To
messes up
get-
Iron Man suit.
Yeah, no,
He
he messes
goes
up
in the
Iron
suit,
Man suit, and Iron
messes
Man's
it
like, "Oh, I'm about to come, Ant-Man, get over here," and then he holds
Ant-Man-
open his pee hole.
Yeah.
Ant-Man
definitely.
sounds all
Should've
the
come.
enemy heroes in Civil War. He crawls
That
into their pee
Gives
hole.
him big cum.
He gives them big cum. He crawls into their balls and urges the
It makes
sperm
their
forward.
big cum.
It's like, I've never known I get cum like this.
Thanos stops his genocide.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to get the stone. Like Thanos, is like we need to get the stones back because I need to give everyone. There's no point in making the universe if no one's experienced. I don't know where I'm going with this.
What if
Thanos likes the
Thanos
big cum.
What
uses
if
the
one of
glove
the
to make
Infinity
more
Stones-
Ant-Man so everyone can have big cum.
The Infinity Stone is Thanos' kidney stone. One of them.
That's not true.
What if one of
Wrong.
them?
What if?
It's the yellow one, the Soul Stone.
That would probably make the movie a lot harder. Like Infinity
He has
or
to pass the
Endgame
kidney
would be so
stone.
much harder because they'd have to like go and like find all the Infinity Stones.
That's
and then
where
one of
fucking
them.
Ant-Man comes in.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
that's
like,
right. Yeah, he goes
And he has a
inside.
little mini fucking
Bulldozer.
submarine.
yeah. That is one of those things where you look at that and because it's like you look at that like objectively and you're like, there's a stock episode in American cartoons where everyone shrinks down really small and goes into one of the other characters' bodies
Yeah.
and does something while they're sick or something.
I think
It's like
it's
that just
'cause
happens.
America's subconscious has a vore fetish.
We're certainly making it harder on people not to.
That's
have
why
vore
we're so
fetishes.
fat, you know? We just love to eat. We love to think about getting eaten.
We just imagine this as like a bunch of little guys. That's what a Big Mac is to us. It's like down the
a
hatch.
bunch of little people crawling around, swimming around in
fat
their body.
people don't want to lose that weight because they're like, look, there's like they're imagining like the little people exploring their body, and they're like, there's so much to explore. But if I'd lose the weight, they'd be like, oh, this is boring now.
That's
Yeah.
why little kids like snacks that are shaped like little animals. There's like dinosaur nuggets, gummy bears, Sour Patch Kids.
Swallowing them
Having
whole.
like a
They're just eating Sour Patch Kids. Like, this is fucking awesome. Eating little guys.
little guy, and they're walking around in my body. It's fucking
This is
so
badass.
the gummy bear or like the Scooby Doo gummies are. It's like they're gonna solve a little mystery in my body. I don't fucking know.
Time to solve the mystery of my belly. You're just watching your kid say this, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, time to bring him to the morphine camp.
What are you talking
We
about?
failed this one. That would be a good commercial where it's
Eating
like
animal crackers. It's like a little zoo.
I bought a zoo,
You give
but
them
it's
some
a
little
small
animals to play
zoo.
around with.
Dude, We Bought a Zoo was a fucking movie.
That was a movie, and we bought a zoo too.
Was there a We Bought a Zoo too?
Pretty sure.
With
Do
Kevin?
they just buy like another zoo?
I feel like
We
that's...
have the same zoo.
Oh, well.
Then they didn't buy a zoo in that one. They already bought the
Well, they
zoo.
had, but yeah, they bought
still
a zoo
bought a zoo
earlier.
Still past tense.
We bought a zoo too.
They're not saying that it's we're buying a zoo too. It's we bought past tense.
Okay, we bought a zoo too, as in, but T-O-O.
This is the
and
continued
that's like-
ramifications
they have, like,
of
a
them
rival
having bought a
zoo.
zoo.
They have a
Some
no.
other family
but
bought
T-O-O,
a zoo.
so
yeah.
another family bought another zoo, but they have them like across. So it's like a car dealership. So they're like right across,
the street.
and so they're like, how do we attract people into our zoo? And they just do more fucked up things to the animals.
We
Until
shrink
one of
them
them
down
invents
and
a
we feed
shrink
them.
ray. And then,
Let people eat tiny little giraffes.
yeah.
Dude, like the scene in fucking Spy Kids 2 where they have the little tiny animals on the
I'm
island.
telling you, man. People, this is a fucking you stumbled upon something that's like an eldritch horror level of knowledge.
Dude, I fucking really love that scene in Spy Kids 2 as well. Where they have
I really like
I
the
really like that
tiny
scene.
animals.
Dude,
I don't know why.
That scene is fucking cool, dude. Where he's got like the little tiny like mutant creatures that he's made, and he's got like a little
Then
tiny
he eats it
island
and he
to put them
says,
on.
down you go. And the animal says, woo, I'm going to
That
explode.
did really tickle my brain as a kid watching that scene, just seeing the little tiny animals like fighting each other on the island. I was like, fuck yeah, that'd
Well, I
be
mean,
so
that's just,
cool.
I saw that and I was like, that's like fucking Pokemon.
Yeah.
I remember I was cleaning out under my bed and I miss the days when like technology was both like magical in kids' brains, but also just like very easy to understand and work with. Because
Yeah.
I had a bunch of like designs drawn out for like, here's how you would make like a robotic Pokemon that would respond to commands, and I'd be like, the transistor goes right here, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is like hieroglyphics.
The transistor. I remember we designed a robot in middle school or something. I remember with David
Fetchbot?
B. Yeah, Fetchbot.
Yeah, you guys won something for that.
Yeah, and none of us actually made it. We had David's dad like buy a fucking RC car and like attach
So
a
much
fucking
labor.
little trebuchet we put on it. It was fucking stupid. Just it did not work.
Yeah, you guys like won something for
I don't know
that,
what
and
the
then
fuck
my
it was.
group got second, even though every bit of information we had, we literally
Yeah,
like plagiarized
just
from like someone who had actually done the study we were pretending to do or the like project.
We've been over
Like John
my-
was like, no, I'm just gonna steal all of it. And we're like, oh okay.
Our school did not set us up for success. What's it called? We've already gone over my science fair fun times where I said, oh, can you make fuel out of algae? And then I just copied an IBM thing where they're like, here's how we did it. I was like, I did that, but in my garage, and it was like winter, so there was just no algae around. So what I did was I gathered a little, and I was like, here's the algae I used, and then I like had a picture of like, it's like, and here's the container I would use to extract the fuel, and it was just like a fan taped to a water bottle, like was the entirety of it, and with like a hose. And then after that, and I was like, and here's what it does, and I would just like set a napkin on fire with like gasoline. And I was like, oh, proves that it's like that's not how that works.
It is fuel.
I won the like state science fair. I got like second or some shit. I have like a
yeah.
trophy at home for that.
Hell yeah, brother. We're scientists. We're
Yeah,
fucking
basically.
extreme geniuses, baby geniuses,
Super baby geniuses.
baby geniuses 2 for the PlayStation.
For the PlayStation Home.
Should get an IPO, Jack.
An IPO?
Or initial public offering, just set up a business. We're like, yeah, I can do this way cheaper than they've done it before with the LG shit.
Oh,
And their companies are like,
based off of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. Just trying to like hustle people into like funding your project at a science fair. It's like
as a middle schooler.
you have like a tip jar, and you're like, you could be on the ground floor of something really big.
I'm looking for some
People are
venture
like,
capitalists.
should we not be wary about the technology he says he's invented? And everyone's like, no, that seems legit.
You could
like a
probably
big
make
Pokemon
Pokemon.
kid.
This middle schooler, like, why would he fucking lie about that?
That'd be really funny. He's like, actually, I've been in contact with Nintendo, so I've got the rights to Pokemon, and I can make little guys. I couldn't
some
bring
little
one here.
Pokemon guys.
They're not quite ready. I don't have the money, but you
You're
can be
gonna
on the
able
ground
to-
floor of this
You're gonna be able
investment.
to eat them soon enough.
Yeah,
We're gonna make a
you
little
can shrink them
submarine
down,
for them
and then
that's
they
like
can
the
go
size of
inside
a
your-
pill, and a little submarine pill that you take.
You know,
and you get to have little guys.
You know that there would be one guy where it's like, if you said you could do that and he believed you, he's like, I will fund you to the end of the earth.
I'm doing that.
Yeah,
I'm taking the little submarine guy pill.
I thought we've established that shrinking sucks ass. It's such a stupid concept.
It's a stupid concept, but having little guys inside of you is the coolest part of the stupid concept.
That's objectively the reason you do any sort of shrinking.
Or growing.
Growing? You wouldn't want to grow when you're inside someone.
No, I don't want to grow.
Explode.
But doing growing is also kind of cool.
Growing so that you can fit regular sized people in you is what's cool.
Yeah. You bend down and scoop them up.
Yeah. Giantess.
Hoover them
off
the sidewalk.
You last podcast asked what the appeal of giantess porn was.
Yeah,
you were just like,
now
what's the appeal?
around.
I don't know.
It's called a character arc.
Well,
I guess.
the question I had was, what's the appeal for the little guys being eaten? I understand the appeal of eating the little guys perfectly.
Well, there you go. You're a
that's a different perspective.
So you're acknowledging that
being the giant.
The appeal of this
better.
is it requires that people aren't into it. If you're like, no
I'm not saying they're not into it either. I'm just saying I don't get what they're getting out of it. I just want to eat them.
I suppose, yeah.
I understand the appeal of getting eaten more than eating people.
Oh.
You
All right.
No. Also, impossible. But if it was,
impossible.
No way. But
it'd be warm.
Yeah, it would be
cozy.
It's like a little blanket. Wrapped up in a little blanket.
Like
being eaten is still possible.
You're like that
little guy.
Lucario inside the melodic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I am like that a little bit.
yeah, I always.
That's how I always see myself.
Yeah, you sent that one comic and you're like, look, it's me.
I mean, and that's another thing to vore as well. Is like it's always about eating them whole, never about like just eating them straight up. A lot of the time.
Well, yeah.
Like cutting them into pieces and like making them into like a sandwich. Why isn't that the case?
Because they're dead at that point.
What the fuck is the point of actually eating them and having them in your stomach? Though?
I mean, there are people that like cutting up, eating them.
Well,
it's
yeah,
called
it's
cannibals.
a cannibal.
Yeah, that's
but
kind
it's
of
not
a
like
different
fetish.
thing.
I'm sure there's a cannibal fetish.
They're not
It's just
tiny.
also
They're not
something
tiny
people
in that
do for
scenario.
non-sexual reasons. Which maybe, I don't know, maybe there's people who are into vore in like a platonic way. I'm not sure.
Elaborate on what that means.
I think it's pretty obvious. They just see swallowing someone whole as a sign
It's
of
a
companionship.
It's a
Or like
fun way to
fun
bond.
It's like they could do anything. Like they could go out to the arcade.
like when you have a secret handshake.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's an experience that you can share
They
with
just-
someone that you can't really share with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we could either go ice skating or we could like try vore.
Could
And
totally
neither one of them's like
eat you
super
whole.
into it, but they're like. sounds
Maybe
kinda
the
cool.
reason you find that concept silly is because of toxic masculinity, and you don't understand the idea of males defending close non-sexual relationships with each other.
Oh,
Maybe that's why that's so silly to
You're
you.
just doing it for the homies. You're just eating them, training them down, eating them.
We're not chewing. No chewing.
It's just like we
We
text in the
swallow you
group chat
whole.
like, "Hey, anyone want to be swallowed?"
Do you want to get vored?
I built a shrink ray for this explicit purpose. Can we move off this topic?
Well, we keep talking about size differences when a lot of vore they are
The same
like
size,
similar
yeah.
sizes. It's just they have like mystical bellies where they can
Yeah,
still
that is-
Extremely
manage.
large.
And
I
they're
like
all-
fetishes that can't exist at all.
It's just one of those
They're
things
very
where it's
fun,
like,
yeah.
what kind of like sequence of stimuli did you have to see in order to be
To
like,
think about,
this
yeah.
is
It's
what
the Sour
this-
Patch Kids and gummy bears and animal crackers.
Yeah.
I'm saying this
And
is basically
dinosaur
the
nuggets.
American subconscious.
No, but those
you
are
know?
tiny, like the big guys, like the
Yeah.
guys who
Well,
are
yeah,
regular size.
it's an extension of that. You know, you get the tiny guys. And
Oh,
Yeah, you eat the
can build
tiny
up-
guys,
Was there-
and then you're
wait.
like, this isn't enough.
Wait, no.
I need
Was
a
there a
bigger
point
guy.
where the Sour Patch Kids were like, we're making big Sour Patch Kids, and they
In
made like
some of
bigger
their
ones?
ads, they have
The
human-sized,
They're like, what if I can
animated
eat like
Sour
that?
Patch Kids hanging
right.
out. Although those ones are like wide, they're much wider than a human, even though they're the same height. So that I don't know if they could even suspend.
But the
disbelief
idea is
enough to
there,
avoid.
so it's like this tiny guy. That's cool, but like, what if I could eat the big one? He could be resting in my
And
belly.
he could live in my dummy.
And I've got a big belly too.
yeah.
Unnaturally sized belly.
Next scene.
Next topic.
Veggie Tales. That's somehow got to do with that.
the Veggie Tales never really discuss how they're vegetables, you know?
Yeah.
They just like Jesus too much to really question their own existence.
Yeah, do they go to heaven?
Nah.
Well, yeah.
They could kind of raw
So
dog on that
vegetables
deal.
go to heaven.
Those ones, they're sentient.
Alright.
Because
There's
At
no humans
one
in
point
the
their
Veggie
stance
Tales.
was dog. The Catholic Church's stance was dogs don't even go to heaven.
yeah.
So I just think it's a little bit bullshit that sentient vegetables get to go.
Yeah.
But they believe in Jesus Christ
That he
as their
died
Lord
for
and Savior.
their sins,
so,
yeah.
That's true.
so I think they deserve it.
I was in church this morning, and there's this epidemic of people doing like vtuber noises to agree with the pastor, where they go, and like the entire congregation.
You're
would just,
so brain poisoned that you describe those as VTuber noises.
That's what they no. It's like
People, those noises being made way before VTubers existed.
But it feels like
Just
when you have to like
you don't get VTubers don't get to claim that.
Yeah, they do. Some of them do. Humu humu.
It's not the same thing.
That's not what the people at your church.
That's not
are
the
saying.
same thing.
But like,
Anyways.
yeah, I just think that's funny. I just think that's funny that they need to express their like the pastor will say something just like we should not kill dogs.
That's
And
what
then
they
they're
do at Black
"Mhm."
Church.
You should have
Like-
looked around to see if someone's going, nuh-uh.
No, like a murderer
Disagree.
holding his lion cat's or Thundercat's sword and
Yeah.
is like shaking his head. 6
that's what they
million.
do at Black Church, you know? They're just like, Amen! Holla! Praise
Hallelujah.
Jesus!
I guess Jesus is compelling them to speak at that moment.
Yeah.
And ruin everyone else's church experience.
No, that's the part of the church experience. Is everybody gets to yell. That's fun. You don't get to just listen to the pastor talk about whatever bullshit. You get to be like, fuck yeah, Jesus Christ said
Do you
that!
think our congregation has ever booed?
Oh, yeah.
Have they ever been like, you suck? And then
So,
like,
someone's like, you guys know about this devil guy? And they're like,
Boo,
boo, we
yeah.
hate him.
"Boo, well, I don't like him either. Woo!
Woo, yeah.
I love him. Boo!
Who the fuck are you?
why do we hire this guy?
People always say Black Church would be more fun, but
It is more
it does last
is.
like
It is more fun.
4 times as long.
No.
That's
Have you ever
what-
been to
yeah.
regular church? That shit lasts long as fuck, too.
No, I mean, it lasts like an hour.
An
Black
hour.
Church
Black
lasts
Church
like
lasts
the
so
entire
much
day,
longer, yeah.
basically.
It's awful.
I don't
Like you go like 8 in the morning and then you get out at lunch. Like it's not a short trip.
Fun
It's fun.
experience. That's why you don't go as often. You just go. every
That's
so
why you
often.
bring a backpack with snacks and games.
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
It's a whole community event, you know.
Yeah. Bring some sunscreen
It's not outside.
just in case they do a little
And
exercise.
also, their choir shit also way fucking better.
well,
This
yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, I'm saying if Black Church was an hour long, beats White Church hands down.
easy, yeah. But the
Yeah.
the problem is definitely in its
I think the
time.
problem is that we don't inherently believe these things, so it's not
Yeah.
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 exciting for us to be in church, other than the fun parts of it.
Yeah, for me, it's more of a people watching experience.
Yeah.
I like the parts where they get out the little t-shirt gun and just like shooting at people in the crowd. But it's like a small congregation, so they're just aiming it
They
directly
should
at
do,
people's
they
faces.
should do nail guns, you know.
That would just kill them.
They should do
Just nail
little
people's-
wafer guns so you don't have to go up.
That should have been a
In your
Catholic
mouth,
a
yeah.
Catholic tradition
And they're
since
pre-soaked in the wine.
they started
Ooh,
the
that's
Catholic
good.
Church. They
Or-
should have made one of the
wait.
traditions. You have to get your hand like nailed to a fucking plank of wood to know the pain of Jesus Christ.
That would
Instead
suck.
of eating his blood and
But Jesus
body.
took that pain
yeah,
for
that
us.
feels
yeah, but
antithetical
they're
to
all
the point
about
of
doing
Jesus.
like self fucking flagellation and all that shit. Like,
No,
that's
Jesus forgave us for that shit. We
But
don't.
they
have
don't think that. They don't really think
They
that.
don't
Otherwise,
think that. It's like the
otherwise they
entire
wouldn't
crux of
abuse
their
themselves
religion.
so much with how they fucking act. You know,
What do you mean?
a lot of that stuff is about like self punishment.
Like,
Are you
but that-
talking about like
those are like
priests and nuns and
yeah,
shit?
like
Yeah.
Puritans, yeah, maybe. But like most sects of like
Yeah, they
Christianity
should do
and
the nails.
Catholicism,
They
are,
should
like-
do the nails.
Yeah.
Well, like Episcopalians or like other.
I just think
Protestants, they
it'd
should.
be fun to
Yeah,
see
like,
a bunch of people.
Presbyterians aren't gonna be like, yeah, we need to fucking.
Okay, how about instead of baptizing babies, we nail their hands to a plank?
Still not a fan.
Why?
Yeah, for the reasons I've already stated.
Drowning a baby and
And but-
fucking.
Also, it doesn't have. It just has original sin. Like the baby didn't really do anything wrong.
Okay. Jesus didn't really do anything wrong. He nailed his fucking hand.
But that's why. He did that so we don't have to do that to ourselves. That's the whole point.
Jesus is fucking stupid. Like what? Oh, got punished for all our sins, even though he gets to go like back home.
Yeah.
Oh, but he had to go to hell.
Oh, that really hurt to be up on the cross.
He had to go for a long weekend to hell. It was bad.
I mean, that probably would hurt pretty fucking bad.
I'm just saying, when you put that in comparison to being in heaven forever,
yeah,
it's insignificant.
I guess like
you could have just been like, I won't punish my son on earth. Like, you made your son to punish him to forgive us, and we're like, oh, okay.
It implies that sin is somehow out of, like, it is somehow more of a cosmic force than, like, God is, where it's like, this is, like, a binary thing. Like, you have like, a fucking morality
God
system.
God is, like, the anti-spiral from Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
It's like, we have to do these specific things to manage the use of spiral, or it will all, or Ragnarok will come.
We need to crucify Lord Genome.
Well, I think it's funny about it is how he was crucified with like a bunch of other people there. You know, there was other guys who were crucified like right next to him. It's like, do I get off for this bullshit?
It was like two guys who like did some actual bad things, and that was the funny thing about them. Is like
they go to hell before they get forgiven.
No, they were both like bad guys, but like one of them was like, Jesus is lame, get us off this cross, boo, you suck. And the other guy's like, nah, Jesus is actually really cool. And he's doing this for like reasons that we can't understand, but I respect it. And he's like, you're going to heaven. You're going to hell.
what a kiss ass. What a fucking bitch.
You know, when I'm fucking stuck up on a cross, I'm not going to be like, fuck this guy, fuck.
At that point, like, you gotta kind of...
taking all my fucking frustration out on Jesus.
At what point was everybody forgiven of sin? Was it when he was put on the cross, when he died, or when he came out of the tomb?
So, when he was put on the cross, he took all that sin in, and then when he died and went to hell, that's when he was forgiven.
So I don't give a shit when he was forgiven, because all their
sins...
That's
when we were forgiven of our sins, yeah. And
okay, but he kind of like sins before that.
It's like a multi-time thing, where, like, people who, like, were before, like... now know Jesus or something, it's like they can still go up. I remember asking a pastor one time when I was like 9, I was like, so what happens to like the Jews? And he's like, all he said was like, oh, it's a good question. Technically they won't go to heaven. He's like, but he says like, there's a verse that says God hasn't closed the doors on the Jews yet. And I'm like, what is that? What does that mean? It's like,
he hasn't slammed the door in their face like some of us would like to.
Which seems a little short-sighted to me. You know.
Yeah, who the fuck invented the idea of purgatory? Is that in the Bible at all?
No, it's all that's like
that one. They actually just made that one up.
Yeah,
that's fun.
I mean, a lot of shit's made up in the Catholic Church. Like the dogs go to heaven thing. A lot of because the Catholics basically were like, okay, Bible is absolute, but there's this one guy who can kind of just make up things,
change the rules a little bit.
Yeah, and whatever he wants, and like there'll constantly be something where it'll be because it's weird too, where like one pope will be like, yeah, this is cool, and then the next pope will come in and be like, actually, that's not cool.
It's like
you shouldn't do that.
It's like Doctor Who, man. The new Doctor comes in and he's like, I don't even remember who that guy was. We got some new rules going on.
How awesome would it to be the Pope for like a couple days, and you're just claiming all this shit.
And then they're like, we're going to undo this so quick afterwards. And he's like, nah, but 3 days of debauchery.
But for a little bit, that shit is fucking law.
Yeah, you do. Unlike Sunday, you're like, instead of wafers, you guys all have to do a line of Coke. And instead, for communion. Yeah. And people are like, I'm sober from that. Like, I got to God, and it's like, sorry, not my choice. That's what God said.
God's taught me a lot of shit you guys are not going to like to hear.
Just one day, you're like, the Irish don't go to heaven. And then, like, the next day, it gets, like, you get replaced, and someone else reverses that. But every Irish person who died that day, there would be a crusade. Does go to hell.
There would be a crusade from Ireland into fucking Rome the next day.
That's why you're just like,
the entire
Irish. Why is the Vatican fortifying its defenses? And it's like, oh, Pope Phineas has an announcement to make. It's like, you guys aren't going to like this one.
It might be a little rough for
Don't get mad. Hey, don't blame the messenger.
All the Irish are just like, there's an Irish on like their deathbed, and they hear that, and they're like, oh no, and then like a demon comes and like drags them to hell.
I should have murdered and raped more.
I wasn't going anyways.
Yeah.
The
Pope can do that.
I like how it's not just like infidelity and like little things where it was like, oh, I'd be compelled to like lust more. It's like I should have murdered and raped.
Might as well have if I'm going to hell.
That's
if it's a sin, you should do it.
That's the mentality.
That's literally the only thing that stops people from murdering and raping.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the mentality that my dad thinks every atheist has. Yeah, they're just like
before I die, I gotta do a lot of murders and rapes just to make sure
the plan.
that heaven is not real. And
he looks at like Epstein. He's like, that's the goal for every atheist, probably.
Damn, I wish. That'd be fucking sick. We'd live in like anarchy land.
Anarchy land. I don't think there's enough atheists to like truly promote anarchy.
You don't think so? You don't think there are?
I mean, there's a lot of other religions.
There should be bi and pantheists who, like, have multiple religions they follow.
Probably are.
And they just ignore all the contradictions.
Isn't that what spirit science is all about? Or?
No, that combines them. That's different. Makes them into one. I'm just saying you're like, I'm a Muslim and I'm a Christian and I'm Jewish.
But the thing with those is that like
they contradict each other. Yeah.
Not even contradict. It's like they build upon each other. So like the Torah is like an extension, or the Torah is the Jewish one, right?
The Torah is the Old Testament.
Old Testament. So the Torah then gets extended by the New Testament, and then like what's the
but they do some retcons.
The Quran, yeah, the Quran then extends the New Testament, and they do
some There's some contradictions,
but there's contradictions. But it's like they contradict being like, oh, actually, God just told me that He changed His mind. So it's like that still lines up. It's like if you're going chronologically, it's still like, oh, God's thinking this right now. If we're going by that chronological order, so you'd just be Muslim.
All right, so I would just be Muslim. Fine, I'll be fucking Christian and Hindu.
There you go. Those would have some kind of.
That would be fun.
Some cross-cultural impact.
God's like.
It's like those fucking Percy Jackson books where all the gods from like all the different pantheons are real, but they don't really interact.
Yeah, he had like a series of books where it's like, all right, the Greek gods are real. This is how they fit in. Yeah, and then he started a new series, and he's like, the Roman ones. It's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, those are the same guys.
You know, a type that does that. Burn the Witch, I think, is set.
I haven't watched that.
It's set in like the Bleach universe, but it's like it's basically just in England. So like the Serite and all that stuff is completely separate, and it's like, okay, that's like Japanese afterlife, but then like British afterlife has like more to do with their like culture and religions and stuff.
I do like those kinds of series. There's stuff like that. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was Noragami, maybe. But it's like shit like God of War, where they've got like the different pantheons and stuff, and you can like go to different areas, and there's different hells and shit like that.
Yeah,
that stuff's interesting.
I like the old pantheon so much more. They're so much cooler.
Oh, the older guys.
Well, they weren't like cool guys.
Monotheism.
And you don't have like existential questions about them where it's like, why would Zeus do this? Oh yeah, because he's an ass. We know that about him.
Yeah. No one ever said Zeus was perfect. Actually, quite the opposite. They've said multiple times that Zeus is kind of like an asshole who couldn't keep it in his
the
pants.
Embodiment of all Greek guys' dads. They were just like writing about, my dad's a fucking cunt who raped and fucking murdered. And
God, Greece sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, dude. And that's why he's in charge, because he's your dad.
I like how people are like, actually, Greece was really cool with gay people. It's like, yeah, they also like viewed women as property. It's like, we probably shouldn't be like, let's not cherry
They were very intelligent.
Yeah. They understood just kind of how things worked.
The coolest part about the Odyssey is where Odysseus murders all his slaves that slept with his wife's suitors while they were staying there.
Yeah.
He kills all the suitors, and that's weird. And then he kills the slaves they slept with. It's like, oh, wow.
Cool guy. That's my hero.
The Odysseus thing, though, because he goes in and then, like, completes, like, a challenge, or they have, like, a tournament arc to decide the suitor things, and he just goes in.
Like, archery.
Yeah, and in, like, a cloak, and he's like, just kidding, I'm Odysseus, and you're all fucking dead. And it's like, why did you do all this pageantry just to come in and fucking murder us?
Yeah, and then fucking all the families of the suitors are like, that's fucked up that you killed all our children. we're gonna fucking come and conspire and kill you, and then Athena just fucking mind wipes them. She's like, Odysseus, you don't remember they did that.
God, having the gods on your side is like such a boon.
Being a
like,
demigod, that'd be tight.
Especially like Aphrodite or any of those things. I guess Aphrodite, it's a problem because like whenever you have like Athena, she's a lot more tactical. So it's like, okay, I know exactly what'll help you out here. But with Aphrodite,
Athena's a total Mary Sue.
Oh yeah,
poorly written god.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she came literally out of
more like
his
Ray
fucking
Athena.
Brain. Yeah. Like, okay, dude.
But like the best part about Aphrodite, or the worst part, if you're like a patron of her, so it's like, oh, he's like my like whatever like 15th nephew, twice removed, and I really like him, so I'm gonna like help him out on his journey. Like if you get up to Aphrodite and you're like, actually, I think they'd make a really good couple. Aphrodite will just be like, yeah, I'll put all of the stuff that he wants to do on hold and then try to get them together. Like they're involved. I think that's a part in the Odyssey where like
fuck over their whole lives.
He just like ends up somewhere, and then like Poseidon or someone's like, actually, I think they would be really cute together, and like the only god that's trying to help him out is like, yeah, let's do that instead. And so he like mind wipes both of them, just be like, now you're in love. He's like, oh fuck, yeah, it's pretty good, badass.
I mean,
Greeks were fucking stupid.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't have anything figured out.
They weren't even thinking about little guys going in their stomachs or nothing, you know?
Yeah, they didn't realize the appeal of that yet. Or they did, because that's where the Titan dad of like...
Oh, shit, yeah.
He ate them all,
Kronos.
and then they came back out.
Yeah, and then they ate them. That's the
Never
problem.
mind, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they were more advanced.
They were trying to like write, but they wrote on like stone tablets, so they couldn't like write things down on papyrus yet. So they were like... They like wrote stuff, and then they were like, and then they explode out of the chest, and he's like, I don't like that, but it's already written down. I probably should have changed it.
And humans are really into just the concept of eating each other. It's weird.
I really don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Well, it's because we're like, what would it be like in there? We don't know. We want to know.
We want to know.
Magic School Bus hadn't come out yet. We're like, what's it like?
I think a lot of people
go around in the belly.
I think a lot of people who do that is like they're just looking at it and they're like, I bet being eaten would be like a really big weighted blanket. That's probably what it's like.
It'd be like the sensory deprivation tanks that are just really nice and warm and squishy, you know?
Squishy is not like a verb that I'd use to describe, or adjective to describe like something that's pleasant. Like I don't like squishy things.
You don't like
most of the time.
squishy things? Soft?
I don't like things that squelch. I don't mind things that squish. Squish is good.
Do you like tight spaces? Do you like things squeezing around you?
Yeah.
I like to be. I like a blanket, but I don't like to be like squeezed around.
Yeah.
I'm autistic.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I know.
That's a real... we were going to eat you.
Which part of that's a shame?
We were going to give you a good time, Jack. Let you be eaten.
Do you think Sia did the whole, like, do you have to fucking pile drive the autistic people and then make them tap out in order to calm them down? Because she's like, they like weighted blankets, so...
Maybe.
That'd be pretty cool.
Her limited experience with autistic people.
Her, like, general, like, Tumblrific knowledge of it.
Maybe she did it so she could pretend to be autistic later and then have a bunch of people squish her.
That would be
have
so
a
good.
fit and then get tackled.
If Kim Kardashian tomorrow started a new TikTok page and pretended to be someone else who was autistic and had like those like fake autistic girl things, but then it's just like, you're obviously Kim Kardashian. She's like, nah, my name's Jenna and I'm autistic. This is me happy to
out.
And you see like Pete Davidson's massive fucking cock in the background. And she's like, I'm filming, babe. And he's like, oh, I'll come back later.
I'll come back later. This might Pete Davidson.
That's what he sounds like.
I'll come back later.
That guy's just not funny.
It's really not.
Like, it is really interesting how fast he's failed upward.
He's fucked so many like famous women.
What is that?
His penis is just good. I imagine. I imagine it's not even like not like super big, because that'd be too bad.
Yeah.
But he's just probably really
like
good
perfect,
at fucking.
yeah.
The perfect size.
Yeah. No, it's like take off his pants and it's like an amorphous blob, and he's like, he can be anything.
He can open doors like with locks. You can put his dick against the keyhole.
The guy. We need one more person for this heist. I know just the guy.
We're building the whole team here. Little guy, a guy with a penis that can open lock.
Those are all
what do we need the little guy for? It's like, oh, he's not necessary.
he's for me.
This is how we get Pete on board. Here you go.
Pete's like, I have one condition.
No, don't eat me. I'm just a little man.
I like it.
I'm sorry, little man. You're about to go on an adventure.
You want a little submarine? Oh, it's non-functional. It's just a toy.
It's not a real submarine.
Don't worry, you'll eventually get old and shrink until you reappear in someone else's ear. It's called a callback.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, we're really talking
we're setting
about
up a good heist movie here.
I love little guys.
We're not really setting up anything. We haven't established any of the important parts.
It's like the,
all we've established,
like the Suicide Squad.
The team is the most important part.
It really is, yeah, because Ocean's 11 would not be the same without George Clooney.
Yeah.
The little man's our George Clooney, and he will be played by the same actor.
But every scene with him is just inside the body somewhere else, just like looking around, like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, it's like half Fantastic Voyage, half heist.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Journey to the Center of the Earth? What?
Yeah, half Fantastic Voyage, half Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Isn't Fantastic Voyage the thing where they go inside someone's body?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the reference I was making. What's with my literary references today? We're bringing
They're out of control, man.
I know. They're gross.
You gotta calm that shit down. No, I don't think what they don't talk about a lot is in those, like, stuff where you go inside the body. It's fucking dark in there. It's pitch black, but every time, everything's lit up. Like, there's a bunch of light sources in the body.
It's like those ghost shows. They have to give you one of those things. It's like, oh wait, I'm still trapped inside folds of the stomach.
Yeah, everything would be fucking pitch black inside your body. That's kind of scary to think about, you know?
Well, you'd swallow a little flashlight.
Yeah.
Kind of think about how dark everything is in there. How scary it would be to be inside a stomach.
You'd have him do Morse code by, like, giving him a little buzzer that he could, like, a big buzzer for him, but a little buzzer for us, and he could, like, hold it up to your thing, so it was like, it's like, oh, he needs a little flashlight. I want some little Scooby snacks. Here you go.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're really big Scooby snacks.
So stupid.
He has to dodge the falling Scooby snacks.
They're gonna crush him. It breaks one of his legs. He's like, you alright, little man?
Worst
He's
like,
ah!
Scooby snacks broke his leg. He's like, I need to get, it's like what was it? 127 hours?
Oh, yeah. He's trapped in between the Scooby snacks.
His leg is pinned by a gigantic Scooby snack.
The stomach acid is slowly rising.
Yeah. Then you just go.
He's like, I gotta saw my leg off so I don't dissolve pinned under the Scooby snack.
This movie's kind of all over the place.
Those are just the scenes with the little man. Every other scene is about the heist.
It's kind of like all like it's kind of a little
like
frantic.
A concept film.
What if you really shrink them down so you can fit a whole bunch and you have like a little society and there's maybe even multiple countries in your belly and then one day a fishing tribe in your belly finds a Scooby snack and embedded the Scooby snack. And it's the Avatar.
No, they live on it.
It's like the first episode of Avatar.
Okay, how big is this? Because like this. Okay,
you really shrink them down.
Yeah, but you can't shrink the Scooby snacks down that much, so they're still like pretty big. And then you put the little Avatar inside the Scooby snack.
Like Osmosis Jones, you know.
That's another cultural. You chew the Scooby snack, so it's like a piece of Scooby snack.
Yeah,
and he's in that.
And then
there's the one scene in Osmosis Jones where they played the Kid Rock song where he talks about fucking underage girls.
Do they have that song?
They play that song in the movie. They don't play the line where he talks about fucking underage girls.
Which song is that?
I don't know what Kid Rock song it is, but I know they play that song in Osmosis Jones.
Kid Fuck by Kid Rock.
Kid Rock fuck.
That's the opening line is, hey, today it's not Kid Rock.
It's Kid Fuck.
Burn out. Yeah.
That's a whole different song.
It's Usher and Kid Fuck.
Usher and Kid Fuck. Featuring Kid Fuck.
An executive just like looking up after like a coke bender. It's just like, what if we changed your name from Kid Rock to Kid Fuck? And he's like, I don't see how that would make it better.
It's Italian to Osmosis Jones. Just fucking do it.
No, they're making a movie.
What is this movie
little
about?
germ guys and a really gross dude.
and he fucks a kid in it? I don't know.
He doesn't fuck a kid, but that's kind of the vibe.
Like, it gets dangerous.
He's a guy you think maybe could fuck a kid.
It's a guy
Bill
that
Murray?
if he fucked a kid, you wouldn't be like, what? Him? You'd be like, oh, that's...
You'd be like, I thought so.
Is Bill Murray the guy that in Osmosis Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
I
OG.
think so.
I've not seen that movie in a long time. I forgot that there was like the real life portions.
And he's foul. He eats oysters at his
He goes to like a
daughter's science fair, and someone was like, I was doing experiments on the oysters.
Yeah, and then he doesn't realize that kid does no experiments and copied all of his work and just brought like stale oysters, and he's like, these will be okay, right? They've been sitting out for 9 days. I forgot I bought them.
Damn.
Oh no. That movie makes too much sense when you actually know what goes on behind the scenes at science fairs.
What about in the body though? Does those scenes make any sense?
Does it make sense when the little pill guy is he's like a robot?
If that
starts to lose the plot on that one. Just a little.
Pills are just little like fucking Terminator robots that in your body.
I would eat so many.
I would take all the pills.
I would take any pill I found.
I remember we found a Vicodin in high school that one day.
I remember
that was cool. Brett found it on the ground. I don't know, somebody dropped their Vicodin somewhere. Found a little fucking Vicodin. Brett was like, I'm gonna take it.
I think we should trick high school kids into taking Cialis during school hours.
Yeah.
Just run around with our hard dicks. Like,
we're sitting in the parking lot.
We make them think it gets them high.
Yeah.
Like, this will get you fucking high as shit, man. And you're like, alright. They'll just have erections and they're hanging out. The placebo effects are like, I am fucked up.
My dick hurts.
Just hard as shit.
Mr. Johnson, my dick, it's really in pain. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, we make them take not just Cialis, but too much Cialis. We're like, you should take 5.
This is gonna get you faded, dog.
What do you think about tricking high school or middle school kids and thinking that Cialis will get them high so that they all just hang out together with hard dicks and act like they're high because they think they're meant to be?
That'd be pretty good because they all are trying to be like, oh, everyone else.
They're all trying to be like, oh, I'm so fucked up.
Oh my god, that's great.
Is anybody else like feeling so high in their lower regions?
Super wrecked, all leaning forward like, you guys high?
in a
yeah, me too.
Lot. Just at a park, like just like walking around. It's like, come on, guys, let's go take a walk. And then they take it. They're all just like hunched over
big old group
and like
middle schoolers walking around with just hard ass cocks.
It's like, we need to get back to the car. I want to sit down. It's like, I need to sit down. It's like, oh, are you feeling it too bad? It's like, yeah. I need to kind of hunch over real quick.
Is that Stacy coming over to talk to us?
I bet she's high too.
Yeah, what happens if a girl takes boner pills? Does their clit get stiffer?
Their clitoris
extends.
It's like Pinocchio.
Every time they tell a lie, which is always
a little longer. Women do be lying.
Women be shopping.
Women be shopping and they be lying.
And eating hot chips.
They be doing Cialis.
Yeah.
That's true. It's like, did you do Cialis? It's like, no.
So the lie effect only applies when they're on Cialis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Pinocchio pill for them for some reason.
Pinocchio pill.
Which is like, we've like, I don't know how this happened.
Once it wears off, it all shrinks back to normal.
Oh, no, it doesn't. So they just have to make sure not to lie in that time.
Yeah.
That's why the truth serum, it's like, you don't want to...
It's like getting a...
That's why interrogation...
Would they tell a couple lies? Because they're like, maybe I wanted it to be a little longer.
I want a little...
Just a little bit longer.
A little worm-like clit that you can suck on.
They can wiggle around.
I don't want to talk about this.
Have you seen the Dragon Ball game where where he catches fish by dipping his tail. He takes the tail out of like his pocket and he attaches it to his backside and he dips that in the water. And when he catches a fish, he yanks it out with his ass. This is like in a real Dragon Ball game.
Yeah.
Women grow out their clits to catch fish.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
What do you think about that?
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. What do you think about a little guy swinging on it like Tarzan?
Oh yeah, he gets peed out, and then he's like, he's gonna fall.
Yeah, he's gonna fall to his death.
Like, wait,
Clit. Long.
Why is there always a cat in those little guy movies? Where the little guy has to face off against the cat.
Well, because cats are dangerous to little guys.
I guess they would
It's
be
like
their
Tom and
natural
Jerry,
predators.
you know?
It's like Tom and Jerry.
It's like Tom and Jerry.
It is like Tom and Jerry.
It kind of
like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, think about it.
Tom's a little guy.
Remember that time?
Jerry's a little guy.
Remember that time where we all got high and just watched Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
Pretty good.
That's cool.
I was stressing out, but
Yeah, you were not having a good time. I was thinking about that the other day because we also got high and watched like Tom and Jerry at Wyatt's place, and I was like, really wish this was Sailor Moon right now.
We already. Oh no, we were watching full episodes. We were just watching clips for a while.
Yeah,
that's what Jack does when he doesn't know what to put on TV because we make him do all the YouTube videos when he's here. Say entertain us.
Bear on a hot plate, and then they boo. They just
and then you play something like we're like play something different.
No. Did you know they took down like 90% of my Sailor Moon clips, so that playlist is fucking worthless now.
Nice.
They.
I'm sorry.
I know that was a hard day. I tried downloading them, but I was too late. They were too fast.
Too late. No!
Please!
Tried downloading them, but you were too gay.
Yeah.
No.
More like.
Not what happened.
They
Not what
don't
happened
let
at all,
gay people
actually.
download YouTube videos ever since the Gay Rights Act.
Ever since Pride ended.
Pride,
Since Pride Month is over, you're not allowed to download stuff if you're gay anymore. Let's end the podcast and go get McDonald's.
Woo! Sounds good to me.
On time? Right. We get on time?
Yeah. Email us at brownbrickspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, email us.
And,
please.
I don't know.
If you're a little guy, hit me up. Hit my line.
It's going to be hard to email. He's going to have to jump across.
He's going to have to jump on all the keys.
Yeah, he's going to say, oh no, you got to backspace this now.
If you're a little guy sending an email, use a phone. It'd be easier.
Not by much.
There's way less spaces between the keys you got to jump on.
That's true.
Is he going to even register a little guy?
But like with I'm looking at my keyboard.
That's true.
And depending on how
he would have to take his shoe off. So he could control it that way. He could walk to the key. He could have like flip flops. Walk to the key. Wants to press. Take one of his.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
That is smart. That is smart.
This is a smart podcast. We had a lot of very intellectual conversations, and if you enjoyed them, email us. Bye.